Hello again, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Awesome 80s Podcast. This is Michael.
This is Lawrence. Hi, Michael.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you? Hey, we got to do this real quick.
Okay. Hopefully Nathan's happy we showed our picture.
Oh, there we are. There's our picture. We had that ready, and then shit happened, and then we didn't have it ready, but here we are.
Wow.
So we have a very special guest. We may not beat around the bush. We've advertised it. Here he is. Hello, Keith Coogan.
Please, no pictures. Hi, guys. Hi, Awesome 80s Podcast.
Third time.
Right. Hello, Michael. I love how you put on your radio voice when you introduce the show.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, he was just sitting here like, oh, man, what's up? Hello, everyone. This is Michael from the
Awesome 80s Podcast, available at www.awesome80s.
He wasn't like that 25 seconds ago.
No.
What's up?
Welcome to Awesome 80s Podcast.
25 seconds ago, you thought he was from Compton. Now,
Wait, I see some Miller Lite. No endorsement implied. And I think he's drinking a rum and Coke. I'm not sure. Jack.
Vodka Red Bull.
Vodka Red Bull. That's a good choice. That's a good choice.
Yeah, I mean, it's late in my part of the country, so well, not really late. Later than where you're at.
Those are good because when you're 46 and you try to go out and party at the bars in LA, you need the Red Bull.
Yeah. Absolutely. So how are you doing, Keith?
Doing great. Launched my website officially at keithcooganonline.com. The obligatory bios and videos and pictures and crap like that, but also a link to my merchandise site. And you mentioned Pinky. We've been making T-shirts, and as well as autograph photos that are available if you want to get an autograph for Adventures of Babysitting or Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead or Toy Soldiers or... I mean, I had a Book of Love fan that brought a DVD the other day. I'm like, you get a T-shirt just for bringing the DVD. So all sorts of great stuff there, and that's been hard. I did it. I got the merchant account. I connected the credit cards. I did it. I built this thing, and people are like, do you have someone taking or skimming off and doing it for you? And I'm like, no, we do everything and mail it. It's a little great way to connect with the fans that can't, make it to the shows that we're at. We're going to be in the Midwest in Chicago.
Oh, we're on Rewind Convention. That's right in our territory. We're going to cover that. That's right.
Great guests.
Yeah, that I know all about that. So we're going to talk a lot about the Rewind Convention. It's actually very close to where we are, so we'll be talking about that. But you mentioned something real quick. You mentioned someone brought a DVD to you at one of the recent conventions. One of my friends was signing at a convention you were at a couple weeks ago in Long Beach.
Yes.
A good friend of ours, Garen Cockrell, who is on this show frequently from the Never Not Funny Jimmy Pardo podcast. And when I saw your picture, because I was messaging him throughout the weekend when he was there, and I saw that you were there, I texted him, and he goes, I know, I was so pissed when he had just left that he didn't have his Adventures of Babysitting Blu-ray for you to sign, so I need to try to hook something up there, because he was so mad at himself, and I was like, Keith Coogan? I know Keith Coogan. I can take care of that.
Well, we do. I'm selling like autographed DVDs at the table, but I'm buying like cheap $3.86 Walmart DVDs and selling them for $25.
Right.
Blu-ray is slipping in there.
Yeah. So he was very upset at himself that he did not know you were going to be there. So, but yeah, so you're on the circuit. We'll touch on the Rewind Convention now, and then we'll come back to it. But the Rewind Convention, it's in Chicago, Illinois. Let me pull up the dates here. I have them, but a lot of great guests. A lot of the guys from 90210 are there.
The girls too.
Yes, I just saw that they're starting to sign the girls.
Yep, they've got a cloidery of nerds from their favorite films. It's a great show. I mean, it really is. And they're all. Most are good friends, and some of them people I've worked with. So it's fun. There's two sides of the show. There's the convention, and there's the show face. People put on, oh, hi, nice to meet you, and
right.
The fans. And then what happens after the fans leave and everyone's roaming the hotel at night, I don't know, if you're a fan and you can and it's not booked, I would get a room at the hotel and just hang out at the bar and see what the hell happens. Cause
some of the cool things that this one is having, just from memories, I know they have a prom.
Yeah.
Retro prom one night. There's an after party, I believe, Friday night. I think the prom is Saturday night.
I think they kick off prom on Friday night. I'm not sure, but that's a great idea. I love the idea of theming it like an 80s movie.
Yeah, no, it's great. They have a lot of great bands, some cover band, or I'm sorry, tribute bands that will be playing.
Right.
John Capelios from the Breakfast Club will be there, the janitor. Yeah, that's happening.
Nearly completing my wife's collection of Breakfast Club. So.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, so there's a lot of great people. I can't remember his name from Dream a Little Dream, who isn't the chorus. I believe he was the jock.
Michael Manasseri? No. You're talking about the guy from Copycat.
Oh, I didn't know he was in Copycat.
He's the killer in Copycat.
No, Harry Connick Jr. is the killer. No, you're right. There were two. Harry Connick Jr. was pulling the strings. That's my fault.
Harry Connick was like the lector they talked to in jail.
Yeah, that's my fault there.
Oh, I'm blanking on him too because I love him. McIrish something. No.
McGillicuddy, McGinty.
It's not Dale Midriff, is it?
No, but I know who you're talking about. And I love the bad smoking in that movie in Dream a Little Dream.
Oh, I love it. It's one of my favorites. We've discussed it on here. You're right. The prom.
Did you discuss the bad cigarette smoking on the hood of the car? It's
yes. Prom is on Friday night. The exclusive celebrity VIP party is Saturday night, headlined by Emerson Drive. Will be the band that night. Opening act is Crush, who I've seen many times. They're the ultimate Bon Jovi experience.
There you go.
And Sunday there's the throwback concert. You gonna be out of there by Sunday, Keith? You sticking around the whole weekend?
Probably either leave Sunday night. Probably leave Sunday night. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. We got to get back Monday, but.
Oh, awesome. Well, that is, like I said, right in our neighborhood. We'll talk about a little more about later in the podcast, but that is something that we definitely want to be attend, if not possibly be a part of. So we're hoping to try to work with them on that. So we'll get to the matter at hand, and then we will go from there. Matter at hand first, Under the Boardwalk. We're not going to spend the whole episode talking about it because we're more interested in Keith Coogan, the man.
Wow.
The star, our friend. But
William McNamara. And
that's it. William McNamara. So Under the Boardwalk. Keith, tell us about Under the Boardwalk. By the way, real quick, I will tell you. I'm sorry to interrupt when I already asked you a question.
No.
Under the Boardwalk is. You can get it on Amazon for $3.99 if you look hard. They don't even make it easy to rent on Amazon. But not one illegal torrent site. It is not out there.
Not that we would never do that. We do not encourage that for anybody.
No. I don't think it's illegal for a web page to show what torrents are out there. That's legal. They have those sites that index.
Right.
Torrents. Well,
yeah.
I like this. It's on Tough Turf. The Spader movie.
Yes, that is the double feature.
You can buy both movies for like $5 online. It's on that in the end of the aisle where they put all the crappy movies and they bundle them together. And I've seen ones with like 5 movies on one DVD.
Right. So if you're thinking ahead, yes, you can order that on Amazon actually for $6.25. I want to say. And were you in Tough Turf? Is that correct? No. Michael, you just watched Tough Turf, right?
Yeah, it's the same director, I think.
They had done Heathers, and we got lucky. We got our trailer on Heathers and Heather's trailer on ours, so we got some exposure.
Nice.
And New World, I think they'd done Tough Turf 2, which is just like, not the sequel Tough Turf 2, but I mean they'd done Tough Turf
as well.
That was just in LA's. It was like because there's the gangs of valleys in Under the Boardwalk that are very territorial. It's almost like it's street gangs. I'm like, as if. They might kick some sand on your burrito, dude. The toughest people we had in Malibu were the surf punks. And yeah.
So how did you go about getting casted in Under the Boardwalk?
Wow. I think it was a deal where I had enough clout coming off of Adventures in Babysitting and Hiding Out. And then my third film was... I think it was an offer. I think it was, would you do this? Here's the script. And I loved it. It had the narrator role, introducing a West Side Story, Romeo and Juliet locals. He's a valley. She's a local surf girl, and I'm her cousin that comes in off from the Navy for a little bit to check out Southern California, and great surfing in the film. They used some neat technology, some jet skis with steady cams on the back to get you into the surfers, and they filmed it all in Southern California. It's one of the only surf movies to be filmed entirely. All the surfing, all the second unit was filmed in California. It was a short shoot, but it had 2 months of second unit after we shot just to get the surfing stuff. And it was released in 60 theaters, mostly beach communities and college communities in California, and then eventually went to video. And it was a nice little romantic comedy. I thought it was cute as hell. We actually shot for a week, and then they shut down production, fired the leads, kept Dick Miller. Dick Miller stayed, I stayed, and I think Roxanne Azal stayed, and everyone else was fired. And they brought back a whole new cast, and we reshot. They go, you know what? We have an opportunity. They saw the week of footage, and they're like, we really could do something with this if we just recast a little bit. So then Danielle Von Zernick was brought on, who was Donna in La Bamba, and she's a great producer, filmmaker as well. I don't know if anyone's seen Living in Oblivion, but she's...
I have, yes.
She also produced that. And I've always been very proud that early on she started producing, and I was like, dang, that's what actors are supposed to do when they're not working.
Right.
So very fun to film. It was like a lot at night at the beach. This are the times that some of the cast had mentioned that they did some partying that I wasn't aware of. I had a little bit of makeup stuff, like some tattoo stuff. One of the coolest thing was we have a framing device in the movie that takes place in the future, far future, where the water's all polluted and surfboards have like clear parts in them and different technologies. Well, we had old age makeup, and it was great. I got to work with Tony Gardner, who had done some work, and I think he'd done the Blob, the remake of the Blob. But he did a great old age makeup on us, and it turned out that he won the Oscar for Bad Grandpa for the old age makeup. And so it was really neat to work with a makeup artist that eventually won an Academy Award for best makeup. So I kept the creepy head bust they had made. It was like,
oh, that's awesome.
Plaster. Eventually, I think I dropped it and broke the nose and then threw it out. But it was on my fridge. I had the life cast made for this, and I had a life cast made for Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead for the wig and that. So this was the first time I'd had goop poured all over my torso, and then it had to harden. Technologies have gotten better, and it's quicker. Back then it was kind of warm. He'd made his own proprietary, no one has this alginate, and had beautiful. He was doing a lot of weird torture, Clive Barker-ish kind of, like flayed skin up on racks of like human skin, and I'm like, he's really, really good makeup artist. So, what about Under the Boardwalk was shooting in Malibu and living in Malibu and going to work and not going into town into the studios, but just there's the gear, there's our crew. Let's I had to get there like 3 or 4 in the morning for the heavy makeup days, because it was hours and hours and hours of this latex and gums. Older people have smaller teeth, so they actually brought my gum lines down to make my teeth look smaller, and gave me jowls and hair, and it was pretty neat. So it was really neat shoot, and I didn't have the biggest part. I think that the romantic leads did, but it was really cool to get first billing. Steve Coogan, Under the Boardwalk. Then I didn't deserve the first billing at all.
Just to mention real quick, Daniel Van Zurich has guest starred on both Doogie Howser and Family Ties. So if she hit Murder, She Wrote, she would have hit my trilogy, but that's okay. Not everyone can be great. Some people aren't good enough for Murder, She Wrote. So, Michael, what questions do you have regarding this cinematic masterpiece?
Well, I did want to talk about the bumpers, because like when you just, that you just talked about was like, it was just so cool to see, like, this is what the future of this is eventually. It kind of felt like a little bit like just a dystopian future, very very similar to what's that movie about the future? It's you got electrolytes, Glenn. You got electrolytes.
Oh, Idiocracy.
Idiocracy.
Yes.
But
Yes.
like that was kind of like that. It's like, and then language have like devolved to that certain level. It's like everyone just says "bra," man. That's what everyone says.
I did particularly like the translation scenes where I asked to have the local speak translated. Dude, he came at me. I shanked him, man. I stabbed him with a knife. Dude, are you gonna Ralph, man? Are you gonna puke? Dude, that Betty, man, girl. It was. I love that we should have had in the video. They should have had a glossary of terms.
Well, I would say that if you watch Valley Girl, it's like a steady guide for the terms that you guys were using.
Yeah, they were pretty set in the 80s. I mean, tubular and gnarly, and there are certain things that you used. I think the beach community had its own kind of set of jargon and lingo. There's ones made up, smirched. I don't know what the hell smirched is.
When you say that, I just hear Smurf. I don't.
Yeah, there's a bunch that are portmanteaus, and that the writers got kind of creative. But we have way crazier words. They didn't know what janky meant back then.
Okay. So you grew up in California? Did you surf when you were growing up?
Wasn't allowed to, as it's too dangerous. I might mess up the face, and then I'd not be able to go do commercials for.
This is the moneymaker right here.
Yeah, totally moneymaker. So when it came time to do the movie, they were like, well, it'd be great if you could surf, and I'd be like, that would be great too. So I actually learned to surf in Malibu, close to Santa Monica though. I had surfing lessons, yeah, and I was 18 years old and lived in Malibu since I was like 5 years old. Because it's sort of pathetic to not know how to surf, but I skateboarded and stuff, so it was easy. The stunt double version, so it's not me surfing.
So, Keith, one of our favorite parts about watching some of these older movies and then reliving them is also our fans going back and sharing their memories. One of our most loyal fans, D Rose, he rented the Amazon version. As he mentioned, you cannot find this online for free anywhere, no matter how hard you try.
If anyone would try such a thing.
He mentioned in his comment, first he wanted to thank you for all of the memories, not only in this film, for all the others. So D Rose says thank you. But he says, watching a lot of the more recent, serious, intense movies like The Room that we mentioned, 12 Years a Slave, it's so much fun to go back and relive some of these 80s teen movies. Also, Danielle was pretty hot, and one of the throwbacks that he loved is the bikinis. You know, nowadays there's so many different types of swimsuits. You don't get the classic bikini. I don't think gets the respect it deserves. So, but he very much enjoyed this movie and wanted to let you know that. And so, like I said, we get a lot of viewer feedback, and a lot of times it's after the episode, but we also like to hear it, before the episode. Like, what did our viewers think of these movies when they go back and review them? And, yeah. So D Rose gives you a huge shout-out. Behind the scenes, were there any great stories in this movie? Like, you mentioned the whole cast was partying, and you didn't, so...
Right. It was originally called Wipeout.
Okay.
Oh man, that was a gnarly Wipeout. Oh, did you see that? Wipeout, man. And we got to work with Sonny Bono, which was amazing. Just to watch him do his scenes was great. Dick Miller, the aforementioned, who's a favorite of Gremlins and
yes,
Dante. It had Tracy Walters. Clothes make man. Driving makes you stupid. That's why I ride the bus. Tracy Walters is not an actor. He just is that. And you put cameras around him and shoot him saying things, and that's Tracy Walters. So I ran into him at one of the Hollywood shows recently, and he's older and more Harry Dean Stanton than you'd like, and he's still kind of with it. But a lot of these older actors, I'm 46, so I consider myself old. As a child star, I'm definitely old.
Right. And alive. So
It's not the years, it's the mileage,
Yeah.
and the women take very hard care to yoga and hydrate and get the skin done and work done, and the men don't. And boy, do they look awful. Oh God. The cast of Land of the Lost looks great, though, I have to say. I got to meet the cast of the Land of the Lost at the Hollywood show, including Chaka. It was fantastic.
that's awesome. And you mentioned Tracy Walters. Not only is Tracy, still out there here and there, but he's done such great things. Like he did Batman, the original, Michael Keaton. Yeah, he did Conan, Silence of the Lambs. So he was in L.A. Law, another personal favorite.
That guy, like
I remember Silence of the Lambs. That's right.
In Philadelphia, I mean, he's always just there. Like he's almost a Clint Howard-esque. Like he's just in the background of everything.
He's an older, kinder Michael Shannon, but he's got that skin where he's got that unnerving kind of I'm just watching you stare, and he's got this great delivery and drawl and pacing of all of his words. It was great to a couple of great names like that. I was so proud to work with Dick Miller and Tracy Walters. It had like some fighting and special effects. We used a lot of great locations in LA. Every pier you could, every beach you could. The LA prison, where the prison scenes were shot, I keep seeing that in movie after movie. And it had a charm to it, It's light and fluffy. Romeo and Juliet, you kill her brother. Tybalt gets killed. Well, in this one, he gets his arm broken and knocked out of the surfing competition. Is getting killed in this. If you it, the structure stick to all of the story beats of Romeo and Juliet, even more than West Side Story, even more than other knockoffs of this kind of ilk. We're proud of it sticking to its Shakespearean roots.
Okay.
So there's another Under the Boardwalk that a lot of people found trying to look for this movie. We heard from a lot of our fans, and it's a 2010 Monopoly documentary.
Oh, right. But it does not have a stellar soundtrack featuring Under the Boardwalk re-recorded by, what was the punk band? We have a great track, Surf Punks, and I saw that Under the Boardwalk, the Monopoly one, and I was like, well, there's no rule that says you can't name a movie after another movie.
Right.
The Untouchables, is that it?
Right.
And then there's Ballroom Blitz with the Surf Punks. Yeah.
Untouchables. Thank you. That is absolutely the band I was too.
That's okay.
The 90s happened to me, man.
So we'll kind of move along, but just to put the cap on Under the Boardwalk, of all the films you did, where do you rank this as far as enjoyment for you? Not from like an artistic standpoint of like the movie, but just how much fun did you have on this movie?
Oh, it was terrific fun. I enjoyed the time a lot, especially with my friends like Gabe Jarrett, who had just done Real Genius. My friend Will had done Stand By Me, but had just the premiere for Star Trek Next Generation was we were on the set of Under the Boardwalk,
right?
And watching on a little TV, because I had to, and support my friend Will. Unfortunately, he became the most hated miner on the bridge of the Enterprise. Poor guy. But that's there's power in that. Anyone who can clear a room. Like Ozzy Osbourne, or I think it was Ozzy and Alice Cooper. One was auditioning for the other, and they got up and cleared the room. And he goes, hire him. And he's like, why? He goes, that's power. And good or bad, you can market that. I found a new band recently that Uncle Acid and the Dead Beats. It's the most satanic, Sabbathy, riffiest, heaviest crap I've ever listened to. I'm a couple years late on it, but it's great. Sorry, I just got off on a tangent there. So I categorize my movies. So I've got the babysitting thing kind of taken care of. I can humbly call myself king of the babysitter movies. But then I've got my action movie, my toy soldiers. There's, flat out romantic, movie like Cousins. There's my karate movie, Power Within. My surf movie, Under the Boardwalk. My ski movie, my snake movie. And I just call them that with my wife. She knows that. She goes, always at your ski movie, always at your surf movie.
Right.
So I like to tackle one of every genre just to try it.
I don't think we've said this on air. I know we talked before. But real quick, huge shout out to your wife. Pinky is awesome.
Yeah.
I read her blog. I love seeing her exploits on Facebook. Can you, off the top of your head, or I can look it up here, her blog's title?
PinkyLovejoy.com.
There you go. But she's a part of a different operation, correct? Like, I've read her blogs on another...
There is at Mike the Fanboy.
That's it, Mike the Fanboy.
There's an article called Manic Mondays, which is
Manic Monday, thank you.
Tribute to that feeling of, nostalgia when... so she'll have, she'll meet somebody from one of her favorite shows and then write an article on what it meant to her then, what it means now, meeting the person. Are they nice? Are they not?
Yeah, you have a very talented wife, and I can't wait to meet you two both in person at the Rewind Retro Festival. So very much looking forward to that. Much love to Pinky. She is so awesome. So we're going to move along real quick. You mentioned your website. You want to mention that again?
KeithCooganOnline.com.
KeithCooganOnline.com. And you mentioned some things which I already know because I am lucky enough to be a friend of yours on Facebook, where you have a lot of awesome new merchandise, and more keeps popping up. My favorite, personally, is the plate autographed by you that says "Dishes are done, man." You can purchase that. You know what? For that hard to find person, there's always that person you don't know what to get them.
Is, and I had someone order that and gift wrap it for someone and have me ship it directly to that other person. That was a fun package to put together.
So, real quick, I know you talked to him earlier. This is our producer, MF Jones. The first day I met MF Jones, I was like, I don't get this guy. I don't think that we're like alike. But we were working together, and about 2 weeks in, I said something, and he went, "Oh, he asked me to do something," and I said, "I'm right up top of that, Rose."
Oh, no.
And he said, "Dishes are done, man." And I was like, you know what, this guy may not be all that bad. But we do want to give MF Jones a huge shout out for everything he does, instrumental in helping us with all the stuff that we're not intelligent enough to do. Thank you for that. Just want to make sure dishes are done, man, your favorite thing.
I definitely appreciate that.
If he ever gets a tattoo, I'm going to make him get that.
we can maybe work that out. I don't know. We'll make a bet.
Keith, MF Jones here is engaged now. He proposed to his lady at a retro 80s arcade museum that he had opened up just for them. Had a CD of love songs put in their jukebox so he could use that to propose. Very awesome.
Pimp.
Totally pimp, right? Totally pimp.
Way.
One second they're playing Miss Pac-Man, the next second he's down on one knee. That's how you do it. All right, get out of my shot.
All right. Back to it.
So there's so many awesome products you can find on KeithCooganOnline.com. What are some of the other stuff that you can go on there?
Now we've got Dishes Are Done, man, dish towels. Pinky's been making jewelry and necklaces. We have magnets. Keith chains. Keith chains are a big hit. The T-shirts though are great. Mostly just posters, covers of the films, and custom. You can send something in and I can sign it. And all done through the. And if there's some order or something weird or you want something super custom, people have been hitting Pinky up. She's got a PayPal. She can actually help take care of custom orders. I've got the rigid website, order one of this number sort of thing. Fun to do, because I've been learning doing web design for years and years and years, and then finally building my own site good challenge, and it's you're always tweaking on it and stuff like that. But thanks for the plug. KeithCooganOnline.com. Go to the merchandise, and you'll also see a link to Rainbow Alternative, who will also be at the Rewind Con in Chicago, and they've got great 80s and 90s merch as well.
So, real quick, I know that in the past you also were associated with an Etsy website. I think I ordered some stuff.
That's them.
Is that still happening too?
That's them. That's Rainbow Alternative.
Okay, perfect, because I've ordered some stuff from them before.
They have a Keith Coogan section, so we love
Yes, they do. So, awesome. I'm glad that
we
is
have
still
quite
happening.
a few. We have some Ducky shirts from them. We have some Goonies merch. Definitely some Pretty in Pink. More others, Pretty in Pink. We love their stuff. Great gifts for your spouse. Hint, hint.
Also, you are also very accessible on Twitter at Keith Coogan. And then you can like you on Facebook.
Yeah, I mean, my friend
follow you at least, yes.
And I don't have one of those fan pages where you can have as many people as you want. So it's actually my Facebook page.
Yes.
And so I'm at the 5,000. People fall off or realize how liberal I am, and then they quit.
That's why I enjoy it.
I test them every once in a while,
Are we really friends?
I'm one of those liberals that's still believes in our armed forces and build a wall and shoot them, goddammit, but also no, offer them food and medicine. So
right,
I'm a really weird kind, because I can almost get along with anybody, but there's a point in the argument where you go, wait a second, you're one of them funny guys from LA, aren't you?
Quick question. I won't go any further with it. Are you feeling the burn at all?
Well, no. I'm stumping for Trump, because it's the kind of, first of all, the illusion that anybody that reaches the commander-in-chief position actually is in control of anything. That's secondly, that this left-wing, right-wing thing, when they say left-wing, right-wing, they're talking about the limbs of one animal.
Right.
It doesn't matter. Trump is a great X factor. It's certainly shaking Hillary up. She's got her own battles to fight with emails and Ghazi and just the past. Not divorcing Bill was a kind of a sign that she's okay with something, and I think that women are having trouble supporting her because of that. Politics, I could care less about the politics of what's going on right now, because
absolutely, I completely agree with you.
We had a choice years ago between Obama and somebody else. And we were afraid that if we chose somebody else and not Obama, that, oh my God, we'd have, they'd spy on us on the internet, and we'd lose our freedoms, and they'd search us at the airport, and they'd restrict our freedoms, and, well, it got triple that worse. That was the sheep's clothing, is that if it was a Republican administration, all the liberals would have been screamed, halt, 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 the oppressiveness on our freedoms. But under Obama, it's nah, man, it's all good, I got your back. So we kind of moved far and fast there, and I don't think people give a crap anymore. Kids today are they'll take that free phone from the Kingsman.
Right.
My head will blow up, that's fine, I'm not doing anything next week anyway. Kids do not care. We've reached this weird shared economy. People are sharing cars, Uber, and sharing houses and Airbnb, and
yeah.
So this kind of not owning your house, not owning your music. You're only renting a license to listen to the music. And movies, you don't own your movies. Many people might have a VHS copy of Under the Boardwalk, but they don't really make VHS machines anymore.
But if you go on eBay and you get 4 or 5 backups, then you're ready to go.
Yeah, I like analog. Analog's good.
Hey, Keith, you're talking to two guys who still have beta players.
I got a Laserdisc player too.
Oh, that's great. I remember my friend who had Superman on 2 tapes. So political wise, I don't think Bernie's kind of like a nader. He totally appeals to all the smart people, but like Idiocracy, this country is made up of more than just smart people.
That's very true.
And Trump is the kind of popular vote that sends a signal to the rest of the world that we in the key parts that matter in terms of our military presence, our freestanding armies in Germany and Italy and Japan, we conquer, we stay there. We don't stay there and rule the place. We just stay there with our troops. Thank you. We're going to just kind of check you right here. It's amazing the amount of troops that we have standing around after World War II. So we have this kind of great stick, and it doesn't really matter who's carrying it, but every once in a while you got to know that stick's there. And someone like Trump will mention it every freaking day. Like, we'll nuke you. Look at that. It's bullshit. No, we got to roll this back. Get rid of that. Talk about executive orders. Can you imagine the executive orders when Trump gets in? I mean, businesses will love it. The economy and business owners will love a business owner. You know, all of a sudden there'll be no taxes to pay. Oh, there's regulations are gone. Boom, maybe we'll get some jobs back and our economy back. This is the, you know, outside thinking. Or we could go down the same road that we've been and go solar and eat vegan and really be unhappy. I think America is happiest when it's drinking. Now the small is the thirsty 2-ouncer. With Trump, we'll get like the 64-ouncer will be the small.
Well, I did want to thank you for coming on to talk about this movie, because I think I'm more of a fan than Lawrence was. It kind of feels like,
what the hell?
What, Glenn? It feels like it's like a Back to the Beach a little bit with like a little bit more teeth. I mean, it's still a fun '80s movie, but it's got Sonny Bono instead of Freaky Avalon in it, and it's a lot of fun. It's pretty stupid, but it's fun. It's good.
I saw them shooting Back to the Beach near Point Doom, near Trancas. I was coming home or leaving home, and I see all their base camp and everything, and I see Annette Funicello, Frankie Avalon on the trailers. I'm like, holy shit. And they're just shooting like one of the dance parties down on the beach, where they like put the little dance floor on the sand and light it up with the strings of lights or whatever. Kind of right near the spot where I married Pinky.
Oh yeah, I've seen those photos. Yeah. So, I said I know you did the Long Beach Con a couple weeks ago, and you're gonna with the Rewind Con coming up in Chicago. So we mentioned we have the boys of 90210. And now some of the girls. I know they just signed Gabrielle. Also, Vincent Young. Vivica A. Fox. I didn't know. Was she? I don't know if she's that much Rewind. I mean, I guess late 90s she was. Dennis Haskins, who's a personal favorite of mine, Mr. Belding. Also, somewhere on VHS, I have his one episode of Scrabble. That he was on. I'm a huge Saved by the Bell fan, and when I remember that being on the USA Network, one day I freaked out and recorded it instantly. Oh, and they just signed Billy Zabka, which is awesome.
He's a neighbor.
What?
Billy lives right over there.
Hey, Keith.
What? Don't
We're
say
gonna
that.
talk in a few minutes.
Yeah. He's one of the coolest cats, man. To tell you, I feel cool just knowing Billy Zabka.
Hey, you know what? I know Billy Zabka.
Aw, Christy McNichol canceled.
He's the anti-cock block.
So
you talked about earlier about just going to Rewind Con. I went to Horror Hound in 2012 or 2013, and I just walked around the halls of the hotel, and I sat down at the bar, and then just Edward Furlong came up and sat next to me. I got to share a beer with Ed Furlong, and he talked about whatever. I was just like, well, this dude's just sitting next to me. Like, it's just like you have these happenstance meetings with celebrities. It was pretty cool going to conventions like that.
I live for the elevator experience. I live for that weird moment in the car park or valet or like whatever when they're like, fucking, how do you work this thing? I just love watching celebrities be human and have meltdowns like that. Except it's weird. I read Will Wheaton's stuff, and Will looks like he doesn't want to fucking talk to anybody when he's leaving the floor and like on his way to the elevator. Like if you try to hustle him, because usually you charge like $10 for a selfie at your table, so people wait till you leave your table and they go, hey, can I get a quick selfie?
Right.
And usually you're like, great. You go, yeah, sure. Will's like, no, fucking no, I'm not working right now. I was working 5 minutes ago. You should have been at my line. Now I'm not working. Fucking leave me alone. And I'm like, whoa. But he's had a different relationship with fans than I have had. He's had a deeper, more connected. Really, being on a series is different. That's one thing I escaped. I was on the Waltons, but it was later year Waltons. I got a year in on a series, but it wasn't. It was pretty anonymous, I have to admit. We didn't watch the Waltons before I did the Waltons, and it was declining in its viewership. So The ones though they did, my friend Jeremy Miller. God, we go anywhere, and it's little Ben Seaver. You can't.
Right.
Amazing. The effect it has on people to see them see Tracy Gold or Jeremy Miller or to see Jeremy Licht, the effect it has on people is amazing. It's I think because you're really there weekly and they really get hung into your story weekly, see character. They see you grow up, especially if you're a kid actor. They see you go through puberty, basically. So there is a different connection, I think, for the TV kids.
Absolutely.
Deep thoughts by Jack Handy.
So we have you have mentioned a couple movies that we haven't done, and with you, like first I can't say how much we appreciate your friendship with the show over the last couple years. You have Toy Soldiers and Hiding Out. Are two of the ones that we still want to review. Even though Toy Soldiers is technically 90s, we've been known to bend the rules a little. 91. So, which of those would you like to come back for next?
I have my Hiding Out fans, and they're pretty voracious. But I think Toy Soldiers. I had a guy walk up to me at the Hollywood show, and I only had like Babysitting and Fox and the Hound and some other things. I didn't have any Toy Soldiers pictures out. And he points at my table, and he goes, "No one's going to recognize you if you don't have Toy Soldiers up here." So for some people, there's the movie that does it for them. I think that more people, Toy Soldiers is going to have a good turnout. We can throw Hiding Out later as we build the audience.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely.
But also, I just saw John Cryer at his book signing a couple months ago, and he's great. I saw his mom, Gretchen, who played my mom in Hiding Out. We'll get to all of that when we do Hiding Out. But
right.
Funny, he talks about it in his book. Making it. I didn't know that he made it. I didn't know that he kind of produced it and got behind the whole thing, found the script, found the producers.
Oh, wow.
I didn't know that. So I have a lot of newer, even more respect, because I thought he did a great job as lead actor on it, hustling his ass off. I didn't know he put the whole thing together. So I'm really grateful to John for that fun time. And it was a weird movie. It was a mix between comedy, teen high school comedy, and thriller with hitman and stuff. So
right.
And not like Gotcha. Not a light Gene Hackman-y kind of thriller. It was weird. But Toy Soldiers,
like real consequences.
Rated, don't touch the wires or they will explode. Thriller.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I love Toy Soldiers. To me is, I never mention it. People go, your favorite movie? I'll go To Work on Cousins. To watch, Don't Tell Mom. But Toy Soldiers is definitely one of those. I don't know. There's a time and a place for that R-rated. Now 80s. That's the thing. Is Toy Soldiers was the last of put kids in jeopardy. Like we did in the 80s with Space and Goonies and Adventures of Babysitting. Parents started getting fired in the 90s coming home. So latchkey children weren't a thing of the 80s anymore. And so you saw different entertainment in the 90s. Kicked off with Home Alone, The Big Fear, but then they're like, we're never going to leave Kevin home alone again. And they did. At the movies, they even changed it to another kid because they weren't going to leave Kevin home alone again.
Now, You mentioned latchkey children. I just want to take this chance to point out, because I never get to say this, that for the area that we live in, that Michael and I grew up in, I was the latchkey child model for our local paper. Okay. I was sitting there in my Cubs shirt trying to get in. There was the local hospital was doing a latchkey child program, and my mom was a director there, so I was chosen. I'm just saying, Michael, you didn't do anything. I was awesome. Anyway, so, okay, well, we're not wrapping up quite yet, but I just want to get that out there. So we will do Toy Soldiers in the coming months.
A latchkey child. It was great. You got out of school, and you get the house to yourself.
Oh, I loved it.
You're going to go fuck off at a friend's house or whatever. It was great.
Are you kidding me? As a parent, I wish I could be a latchkey parent.
Right?
I wish I could just go home.
8. I think 8's good. Here is your key.
Right.
But of course, I grew up in a neighborhood that you didn't even lock the doors, so you didn't need the key. You could just, you could walk over to your friend's house. You just opened the front door and went in. Now you get yourself shot doing that.
Oh, absolutely. I work a job for a very large insurance company where I am lucky enough to only work a couple hours on Friday because I get to make my own schedule. So I guess I kind of have like one day to myself, so I'm not bitching. But Michael here, he has a job where he only has to work 1 out of every 3 days.
It's
He's
10
basically
days.
an actor. I mean,
It's
he's
10
basically has an actor's schedule.
But we got the baby, so I spend a lot of time with the baby right now. It's not a lot of Michael time, but it's still good. It's still a lot of fun.
Now, Keith, do you have onesies for babies that you sell on this website?
We do. We're working on putting the onesies up. We go down to small, but we got a new round of shirts, and we have a lot of child sizes, and the onesies are very popular. We have some that we show up at shows with that are made by Rainbow Alternative. They do have the onesies online.
Awesome.
Okay.
Now, you mentioned a movie earlier, and I know that you've been selling merchandise at least for the last month or so about this movie, and it's one that we'll probably never do because we don't do animated movies, but it's one that I don't think you get credit for, which is Fox and the Hound.
Yeah, Fox and the Hound.
So, how was it doing an animated Disney movie?
It was like looping, so I was going into the same soundstage that I had already done additional dialogue replacement for other jobs.
Right.
They have stage B at Disney. They have A, B, and C, and B is their big. They have a pool table and a Foley stage. The floor lifts up, and it's got sand and dirt and grass and all this cool stuff in it. And I sat there with the AD was the guy that did the voice of Goofy. So he did all the other parts. He played all the other characters. I just did it one-on-one, and we did it. Took like 8-month break, came back, did some more, took another break, came back, let our voices grow up a little bit so that me and Corey Feldman's voices change.
Oh, that's awesome.
As we mature in the movie. And it was, I didn't know, I mean, I knew it was a Disney animated movie. That was amazing. And we were aware of some of the trauma that was going on between the animators only because the film got delayed by a year. We didn't know why, though. We just knew it was taking a while. They'd had a big company picnic, and they were almost done with the movie, but they hadn't finished the bear sequence. And it was just in charcoal and, like, flip pages, and it was still riveting. We're like, this movie is pretty scary, and, you know, they kill the mom right off the bat and everything. So we're like, it's sticking to classic Disney stuff, but it's pretty sad. And I always make a joke that, you know, parents say to their kids, if you're not good, I'll make you watch Fox and the Hound. It was I realize it was the last movie that the original nine old men of Disney that worked on Snow White did.
Oh, wow.
And they handed it off to the younger kids. They did the character design and handed it off. Tim Burton did Trixie, which was the Sandy Duncan character, the girl fox. Lasseter was on it. Don Bluth left production to form his own company and make Black Cauldron and his own movies, and that's what stymied production. Don Bluth took 20 animators, and they had to hire new animators and finish it, and then it was their highest grossing film and their highest budget. $10 million budget.
Wow.
In 1980 for an animated film was a lot. I only know the experience of working in that stage and then seeing it later on the screen and, you know, in hand-painted cell animation, like, and then right after that was when they started to do computer animation.
Right.
They have the Slades, Amos Slade's truck from Jack Albertson's truck from Fox and the Hound. It's in paper. It's all white with little X's on it, and it's used as a model reference so the animators could turn it and get like a 3D look on it. So they have that at Disney, at the Disney Studios down the street. Anyway, Fox and the Hound was amazing, and to this day, the biggest box office of all of my films. It made like 40-something million. I think Adventures in Babysitting did like 36 million. So, and it had a re-release, so it made even more money. They re-release it every couple of years. They do Blu-rays. They do 30th anniversaries. I think we're up to 35th. Yeah, it's 35th year for Fox and the Hound.
Awesome. My producer, MF Jones, just jumped on the couch, so I'm assuming he has something to say.
Okay. I just wanted to say I loved that movie growing up, even, you know, despite how kind of dramatic it was. And it blew my mind when, you know, years later when I realized you actually did the voice acting for it. So thank you. I appreciate that. And I even this goes like way back. I even had like the flip book that had the audio thing where you like hit the button when you're on that page, and I actually had a book with your voice in it. So
Keith, I hope you made money off that.
Oh no, God no.
Well, Disney knows what they're doing.
They do. I still get the checks though, and they're great. Thank you, Disney.
So, I have another mission. I don't know how I'm going to accomplish this yet, but this just came up the other day. Your friend as we've mentioned before, Andre Gower has been on our show as well, which we attribute to you. We appreciate that. Imagine my surprise when I'm looking on my Facebook yesterday and TMZ does their Where Are They Now? And there's fucking Andre Gower. So how do we get Keith Coogan to be on the Where Are They Now?
We already got that, and it's fine.
They did that? I didn't.
Yeah, it's called Remember Them on TAP.
Yes, Remember Them. Yes.
And I had a good one for when I did my Monologue a Day project. They did a thing. I got on the show, and they caught me coming out of Arts Deli in the Valley with some producers talking about a movie, and it was all staged. I had to knock on the door. And he's like, all right, stand over there and walk this way. So it's all set up. It's all set up. Every TMZ is set up.
Oh, yeah, I assume so. So
crushed me when I learned that. Yeah, no, weird. Okay. What's the question?
As a child star, A, congratulations for still being alive.
Thank you.
And being awesome.
And being awesome.
Dick.
But B, there are a lot of, you're on the convention circuit, which we see a lot of child stars doing. However, a lot of child stars just kind of live off of that. One of the things I love about talking to you over these last couple of years and you being a part of our show is that you don't just live off of that. You're still out there doing new things. So tell us about some of this new stuff you're doing besides the website and the conventions.
With the stand-up, around the time I had done a great play.
Hold on. First of all,
You just
let's
stand.
stand up.
Yes, I did a Virgin Sacrifice show at West Side Comedy Theater where they take a bunch of known comics and then they throw me on last and they sacrifice me. And you have to never have done stand-up before. You have to write your own act and publicize it the way that they wanted you to publicize it. And we packed the house and I ripped it down. It was really fun. I put it on YouTube. It's on my website, keithcooganonline.com. Go to the video section. A little hard to the shoe. I apologize, Lisa. If this is coming from a 17-year-old who couldn't get laid, so just take it. But it's everything, and I even cover, being unemployed and going to unemployment and working other jobs that may be industry, maybe ancillary industry-related jobs. Disney does have a shipping and receiving department. So, to working the front gate at Universal Studios recently. That's something that I don't think the dead ones would do. They said, to my face, I'd rather be caught dead than have to work at a this and that or this and that. And now they're dead. So this is, this is not, this is a kind of like the British get that war attitude of like, just stiff upper lip and jolly and everything. But when I'm talking with Corey Feldman, Corey Haim's always in the room.
Right.
There's other people where River Phoenix is always in the room, and he's always going to be in the room. Christina Applegate was with River the night that he died. And,
I didn't know that.
Yeah. And it's a very small community because when you grow up as kids, you see each other at all the functions and the auditions and stuff like that. You trade parts.
Right.
Recently reconnected with Noah Hathaway, who looks amazing. He had a really tough struggle because he hurt his back really hard on Never Ending Story, and had to get on painkillers at a young age, and that created that can create an opiate addiction. I don't think he struggled too hard with that. He fought it, and he's hot yoga and eats nice, eats well, not the crap I eat. I'm like Montgomery Burns in that Simpsons episode where they said that he has everything.
Yes.
He goes, perfect, I'm invincible. They go, oh no, a small breeze can kill you.
Right.
I stop with the the scotch and the cigarettes. If I stop them, I'll die. So I just have to keep eating.
Right. Everything in that episode you mentioned, everything counteracted everything, which created craziness where he still lives.
And then the hounds.
Right.
You found your balance.
So it's neat. I see all these people at the shows now. I do see other kid actors that are just finding this as a revenue source. And they're also, what's neat is it's doing twofold. It's putting some money in their pockets, but it's also helping them understand how much people really appreciated their work. They may feel, I gave up my childhood to Free Willy. Well, no, you didn't. You don't understand how many people really love, that's not a specific example. That actor who just started recently doing shows, he's awesome. you know, I did see, oh God, Saving Private Ryan, Heidi Fleiss, great actor.
Sizemore. Tom Sizemore.
Sizemore. So Sizemore was at the last Hollywood show. And I got to smoke a cigarette. There's Sizemore. Puts a cigarette up to his mouth. I'm like, with the light. I'm like, yes, Mr. Sizemore, here. So, you know, he's got a table, so I see him. He's kind of like pensive in the corner. As I'm sure you just say Tom Sizemore, you assume he's pensive in the corner.
Right.
He looks like a B- of what you think Tom Sizemore could look like. You know, I've seen you go kind of rough around the edges, especially in the eyes. You're just like, wow, he looks burnt out. I don't know.
Oh,
And I've heard rumors that a lot of addicts after these shows, they're calling their dealer and meeting him in the parking lot of autograph shows so that they can cop and go back to being loaded at the table. This is why they disappear Sunday afternoon, by the way. Most shows, they're just dead on Sundays. They're like, I got my cash, I'm out. So I go to go, hey, I don't know if you do this, but love a selfie. I'm a huge fan. And he goes, yeah, no problem, sure. So we take it. I just take one shot. And I figure, okay, I got a picture with Tom Sizemore. I go look at the picture later, and it's the A+ star in the photo. Looking at him like this, I'm like, Tom looks a little rough around. He looks fantastic on camera, and ultimately, that's all that matters. Some people take that too far, and they don't take care of themselves, and they do, you know, they do pass on. But so I take a weird job. I'll do a weird thing and not be ashamed, because I had too many friends that go, that's really cool that you're doing that, doing whatever, you know, to work. I like money. And you do appreciate money earned at $12 an hour a lot more than you do at $3,000 a day, which is my quote.
Absolutely. No, that was beautiful.
$100 a day because of the new SAG rules for new media and low budget modified movies. You can make a movie and pay actors $100 a day. You only get an 8-hour day. They often do overtime and they forget, and then they wind up paying you a lot more. But $100 a day. You know, I gotten up to making 6 figures a movie, and now I'm getting paid $100 a day, and they're shooting these things in 10 days.
Right.
I know, it's ridiculous. I just saw Jason London on a shoot.
Who will be at the upcoming Rewind Con.
Yeah, we're gonna have so we're gonna have so much fun at that con. We're gonna relive like August 1989. It's gonna be unbelievable.
So, real quick, you mentioned doing stand-up recently. I'm one of the hugest fans of stand-up. I've wrote probably, because you always need 5 minutes. That's what they say. You need 5 minutes for your first time. I have no problem being in front of a crowd, but I have probably wrote 4 or 5 different 5-minute sets at least, and I've never taken that leap. So what made you take that leap?
Well, I went to support a friend, David Scales, who was in Crafty, the web series that was, we had a lot of cameos from the Entourage people in that web series. Crafty's online too. Some great people in it. We have great episodes called like Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Stoned. We do. I'm in like 5 or 6 of them, and I kind of took over the series. It was really fun. What point was I talking about?
Stand up.
So I go to support David Scales at his, and it's, you know, he's got a lot of friends that were all went to the same college together, and he had a great show. And he's, you know, most actors are pretty charismatic and everything. And I noticed his act had a lot of like talking about one of their professors and making fun of, you know, another student or something. And I'm like, well, you're right, what you know. And I know that people ask me what it's like to work with Elizabeth Shue all the time. So, you know, that's it. The act is basically the top 5 questions I get asked. It's my FAQs. And how I answer depending on my mood. If you're a dick, if I'm feeling dickish and someone's like, dude, weren't you in that Babysitter movie? I'll be like, yeah, which one? So, and sometimes, you know, you can be nice about it too, but it depends on, and sometimes they can come at you like, oh, what are you doing now? Do you still act? Well, that's loaded, and you're an asshole. When was the last movie you were in, bitch?
Right.
And you're like, oh my God, I loved your work. You know, are you in anything now? What can I watch you on? That's a different kind of question. So tone of how someone's asking can affect it, and so I cover all of that in the act, you know, and other odd jobs I've done. My mom said I was a little harsh on Lisa, and that's how I felt when I was a kid. So, sorry, Lisa. She doesn't call me now. I'm not worried about her not calling me more.
You also have a new web series. Is that
We
the
do.
word to the grapevine?
We're trying to sell it now. We've been promoting it a little bit here because it's at the festivals. We can't really distribute it online, but we've been peaking it on Facebook. We played it last weekend. It was open all weekend to go see. The director might do that again one of these upcoming weekends. So just watch Facebook. I'll share it if I think I missed sharing it this time to last minute. But the Comeback Kids is amazing, and it's got Bernie Copel and Aaron Murphy and Tabitha from Bewitched. It's got a lot of great actors from the spelling 70s shows. Yes.
It's got Scott Schwartz in it too, doesn't it?
Of course, he plays the new agent taking over for Gavin McLeod.
I loved him in Kidco. I thought he was awesome.
Kidco's
Of course, in the toy. Of course, in the toy too.
You got to get. Have you interviewed Scott?
Oh no.
No.
Okay, reach out to Scott.
Okay.
Reach out to Scott, and friends with Keith, and tell him that Keith said that Scott would make a great guest on the show.
Okay.
Because all you have to do is mention Kidco, and you got a half an hour right there of some.
There you go.
Stories of we're talking. This kid had just done the toy, and it hadn't come out yet, but it was coming out. And Kidco had a production schedule, and unfortunately, the end of production kind of conflicted with the premiere in New York. You got to hear Scotty's story of how the hell he made a production, speed up. He goes giving the production chief, okay, we're gonna cut this, move this to there. You have to see. They're looking at his father, going, "What are you doing? What is it?" And he goes, "I don't know. Talk to Scotty. He wants to go to the premiere." He has to tell it though. He's writing a book because he's got some great stories. He's running off with a porn star in New York and school at 15.
Oh wow!
And,
you heard a lot of rumors about him, but
well, they're all true, and he'll talk about them all. That's why Scotty's going to make a great guest. Don't feel you have to tiptoe around anything. I have his porn sitting on my table right now. Well, we were at, I think it's called Scotty's Big Adventure or something. We were at a Christmas party, and we were giving, what are those called? White elephant gifts? And one of them is Scotty's porn. So. You're very stoked. I haven't watched it yet. Can't do that to him yet. But yeah, gotta ask Scott Schwartz on. He is, he's going to be one of your greatest guests. Definitely.
Well, we will definitely be reaching out to him.
cool.
Go.
I'm right on top of that.
Yeah, you got to be on top of that. Shit, he's got a statue. The damn pole. So funny. Yeah, Scott's a really dear friend. I wouldn't have met my wife if it weren't for Scott.
Oh, wow.
He turns to me and he goes, "You ever sign autographs at a show?" And I'm like, "Nah." He goes, "Well, I'm throwing a show, the LA Celebrity Show. Would you come out?" I'm like, "Sure." So I go to do it, and I met my wife at the show. She was there to get other autographs, but.
Yes, I believe we covered your romance story last time you were on. So, just to go back, Rewind Con Chicago, September 23rd to the 25th. So make sure you check that out. Keith will be there, along with several others, hopefully us as well.
I think he's been getting asked for autographs and pictures lately, which is kind of fun. So she'll also be at the show.
I would love a Pinky autograph. I would like her to sign my boob. Reverse. It's got to work. Once again,
we did that with Nick Rhodes. Nick wouldn't sign his whole name because he said, "Oh, people are getting tattoos of it," so he just signed Nick. So she went and she got Nick tattooed, right where he signed it.
That's awesome.
She goes, "How far away is Warner Brothers Records?" And I go, "It's right down the street. It's right, right by Disney. It's right by Warner Brothers." She goes, "I'll be back." She flies out the door. She stands on the corner outside a record party for the new release, and she gets Nick again. And this time he signs the Rhodes. 2 executives, women that were fans of Duran Duran, they told her where a tattoo place was. She comes home with the Rhodes tattoo. So she got Nick Rhodes big on her leg. She's a big Duran fan. She's also got a Cure tattoo, and what was another good one? Oh, DM, Depeche Mode.
Nice.
Definitely good 80s music choices.
Absolutely. Once again, you can follow Keith at Keith Coogan. Website, keithcooganonline.com. We're going to wrap this episode up here momentarily. Keith, we can't wait for you to come back for Toy Soldiers.
Yeah.
So we will get that in the cards here next few months. Our next episode will be next Thursday, March 10th, 8:30 p.m. Central Time. We'll have Chris Vanderkay, author of horror movie extraordinaire. We'll be doing the movie Night of the Creeps. Have you ever seen that one, Keith? Yeah, I see you have.
Yes, I have.
So you can, for us, you can subscribe to us on iTunes, Awesome A's Podcast. We'd like you to leave a 5-star review. If you leave anything under 3, I just want an explanation why. It's only happened one time, and then that guy is a little pussy. Anyway, don't forget to video subscribe to us on YouTube.
What happened? When you mess with that, they could nuke you. Don't even
come back the other way.
I know. Believe me, I could have nuked
2
him.
stars.
And then he'd nuke us, and then it's a whole thing. TheAwesomeA's.com/TheAwesomeA's.net. We're moguls. We own them all.
I've got. Oh, sorry. Awesome.
Oh, you're fine. And if you want to go to our webpage, awesomea's.com or awesomea's.net, you can Patreon us. You can donate any amount of money per episode. We'd take a quarter. We'd take $1 million. Whatever you got. And tomorrow, by the way, Keith, you may not be aware of this, is Dan Cortez Day.
Not aware of it.
It is National Dan Cortez Day. A friend of the show, a few years back. I'm sorry?
You mean Dan Cortese?
Dan Cortese?
Yep.
A friend of our show a few years back started this randomly. And now, through the power of social media, Dan Cortez Day is actually a thing. Dan Cortez participates.
It's been too long in the making, I think.
I agree. So Dan Cortez actually participates in Dan Cortez Day. So tomorrow, that is Dan Cortez Day. And if you tweet him, he will confirm this. He will retweet you and tweet at you all day long because a friend of the show, sometimes co-host Mike. So we like to have a lot of fun with Dan Cortez Day, and we will be tomorrow. So Keith, if you're bored on Twitter tomorrow, Dan Cortez Day.
Sounds fun. I think April should be Lorenzo Lamas History Month.
Well, Keith, I can't tell you what a joy it is. It always is. Stay on the line. We'll talk to you here momentarily. But go to KeithCooganOnline.com for all of your Keith Coogan needs. He'll change your oil. He'll make you dinner. Most of all, you can buy his merchandise.
So
and that's what's important.
Of doing, they have weed delivery is really big in Burbank. They don't have weed rooms, but delivery is big. And with a card, you can deliver for a room and deliver. Wouldn't it be great if Kenny came to your door with weed and walked?
As we wrap up,
we'll bring some beautiful Belgian waffles.
As we wrap up, I will tell you the most feedback we got after your last show was how much people love your cabana. People love your little cabana.
Yes. Just had the light fixed, thank God.
We got questions as, was he on vacation? Is he on the beach? And our response was, it's just Keith, man.
Where's my cabana, man? I got it wired.
Keith's cabana.
So live from Central Illinois, where the weather changes every 5 seconds, to all the way to California, we're in Keith's cabana. Stay awesome, everybody.
Stay awesome.
Stay awesome, everybody.